So 2021 is finally coming to a close, and today I'm going to be ranking all the top 10 best movies of the year in my own perspective. Now, again, I want to emphasize the fact that this is all subjective, and that's the beauty of film fandom. We all are going to have different opinions, and I would like to know, what is your top 10, or maybe for doing a top 5, top 3, or maybe just doing one, whatever it is. Please let me know, what are your favorite movies of the year. I would love to know. And I know we're all going to disagree. We're going to disagree on at least one movie, two movies, three movies. Maybe we're going to disagree on the complete list, and that is completely fine because film is subjective. Now, I do want to emphasize that I have not seen every movie. So some movies, like Licorice Pizza, I've not seen that movie. I've heard a lot of good things. I haven't seen Luca. I haven't seen Encanto. There's a couple of movies I've not seen, but I have seen a lot of movies, and I'm only going to be doing a top 10 list of the movies I have seen this year. But before we start off today's video, if you're brand new to the channel or if you're a returning subscriber, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the notification bells. That way you can be notified for content on the channel. My name is Isaac, and I'm the host of your multiverse of movies, and I'm glad to be welcoming you today on our top 10 movies of the year. Now, again, this is just my opinion, so we're probably going to disagree on a lot of things. First of all, let me just say, this has been a great year for film fandom. There's been a lot of movies that are coming in that have just been so good, have been great, and I'm so thankful that this entire year, this is the first full year of my YouTube career, because I started this channel back in 2020, but it was like in March of 2020, so it wasn't a complete year. 2021 was the first time I did a complete year here on YouTube, and I want to thank all of you guys for the wonderful support. But let's get into some honorable mentions that I am going to bring up now. Some honorable mentions I have is the Bob Odenkirk movie, Nobody. I really love Nobody. I think it's a great movie. In fact, I almost had it in my top 10. Almost. But it just fell off a little bit. And then Last Night in Soho is in the honorable mentions. Cruella, French Dispatch. I know a lot of people love French Dispatch. I'll tell you this right now. I really enjoyed it, but to me, it's not a top 10 best movie of the year. Then you got Tick, Tick, Boom. I'm not even a musical guy. In fact, I'll get into that a little bit more later because there is one musical in my top 10. But Tick, Tick, Boom is a pretty good film, so that was amazing in and of itself. Spider-Man No Way Home. A lot of people are going to be surprised, but Spider-Man No Way Home's not in my top 10 best movies of the year. I enjoyed Spider-Man No Way Home. I loved Spider-Man No Way Home. I even got this hoodie right here. I even got the Funko Pop right there. But Spider-Man No Way Home, to me, as much as I love the film, to me, it doesn't crack this top 10. Now, let's get into the top 10. Now, at number 10, we got Chungchi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which I actually have right here. I just recently got it on Blu-ray and digital code. Sadly, I wasn't able to get the DVD, but Shang-Chi, to me, you can, by the way, you can check out some reviews. I'm only going to quickly review them. I'm not going to spoil any of them, but I'm going to quickly go by them quickly. I remember when I left the theater, I told my friends that I think Shang-Chi is a better film than Spider-Man No Way Home, and they were surprised. But to me, I love Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was just amazing. The action was cool. The story of Wenwu and Sean, Wenwu to me is the best Marvel Cinematic Universe villains as of yet, because I love the story about the fatherhood dynamic, and those kinds of movies they've always hit me in a soft spot. So to see a story about a father and a son and their flaws and their weaknesses, to me, it's just a movie that emphasizes how much I love this film. I love Shang-Chi because Shang-Chi is just amazing overall. It's a top 5 best MCU movie to me personally. But yeah, it's number 10 in my list. Now, number 9, this movie, if you had told me earlier this year this movie would make it in my top 10 list, I would have called you crazy. But Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy. Yes, Free Guy. Now, look, all the trailers were good. They were great. But when I watched the movie, it's like they hid so much. Like, this movie is better than the trailers make it out to seem, and I love what this movie did. I love what they accomplished, and I love Ryan Reynolds in it, because one of my fears was Ryan Reynolds was simply just going to play Ryan Reynolds. He was just simply going to play Deadpool again. And when I watched Free Guy, because I even had lots of people telling me that Free Guy is essentially Deadpool, but PG-13 and kind of a test for Disney. And I watched the movie and I'm like, no, it ain't. It's not that. It's not that at all. Free Guy, it's his own thing. Ryan Reynolds puts a specific performance for the character of Blue Shirt Guy. I love the comedy. I love the story. I love seeing Taika Waititi in the film. The movie was just such a fun, and the ending, the ending is way better than I thought. I really love this film, and to me, it does make that top 10 list. In fact, I was even debating which movie do I prefer more, Shang-Chi or Free Guy, so I ended up putting Free Guy on number 9. Now, number 8 is a movie that I briefly reference, but it is West Side Story. Now, the only reason why I even watched this movie was because my favorite filmmaker made it, Steven Spielberg. I decided to watch it. I decided to check it out. And Steven Spielberg, who is my favorite filmmaker of all time, I decided, why not? Let me go check it out. And look, I don't even like musicals, so to me it is hard for me to get invested into a musical, but I really enjoyed the film. I wasn't able to do a review on it, but just to quickly sum it up, I enjoyed it. The music was great, the story was great, it was compelling. And maybe I'm a little biased, but I love seeing Latino representation in movies, okay? I'm a little biased in that, but anyways, number 7 is the Idris Elba movie that recently came out, and it is The Harder They Fall. Now, originally I was turned off by this movie because I had someone close to me tell me that they didn't like The Harder They Fall. In fact, I was a little late to the party. I was like 2 weeks late, and I watched the movie, and let me tell you, it was a great film. It was it's not a top 5 best movie of the year. It did make it my top 10 list, but The Harder They Fall was just such a great film. It was I was surprised because I hadn't even checked out the trailers, and I really liked what they did with it. But anyways, number 6 is actually a movie that came out probably a month ago, and that was the brand new Ridley Scott film. Which movie are you guys going to guess? No, it's not Last Duel. It is House of Gucci. I love House of Gucci. Now, yes, the ending of the film, I will say, starts derailing. It kind of reminds me of the movie Straight Outta Compton. I love Straight Outta Compton, but I feel like the ending of the movie felt like didn't know what it wanted to be, because it's kind of like it starts off with this big premise, big story, but then it comes to a conclusion, and now you're left with like 30 extra minutes of stuff they probably should have deleted, if I'm gonna be honest. And that's kind of what House of Gucci felt. It felt like the ending of the movie, while the editing and the pace was weird, the rest of the movie was great. The characters' interaction, Lady Gaga, look, I'm always impressed by her acting, and this movie was another great performance from her. Jared Leto was great in it. Ridley Scott once again proves how great of a filmmaker he is, and while I criticize the recent comments he made in comic book movies, I still gotta say House of Gucci was such a fantastic film that definitely deserves to be in the top 10. But anyways, now we're getting into our top 5 best movies of the year. And again, these are my perspective. This is my subjective opinion, and we're all going to disagree. But the top 5 is what I consider the more important films of the year, the movies that I loved. All of these films I loved. And number 5, we got King Richard. Now, I was not planning on watching King Richard, but I heard a lot of this. I noticed I've said this 3 times already on this top 10, but King Richard, I had people close to me tell me it's a really good film, and I decided to check it out, and I watched King Richard, and oh my god, I'm thankful I did, because it's such a beautiful story. It's a compelling story, and Will Smith, I believe Will Smith needs to be nominated for Best Actor. Should he win? I don't know, but I definitely think he should be nominated at the very least, because his performance in this movie was great. The story about a father, raising his daughters. I love that story. I love how compelling it is. I love how breathtaking beautiful it is. I love family movies, and this movie is definitely part of that, and I quite loved King Richard, and I'm so thankful this movie exists. And I am sad that this movie ended up being on HBO Max. This movie deserved a theatrical, authentic run, but sadly, Warner Bros. Wanted to mess up their own their own company, and decided to put their films on HBO Max this year. But anyways, I loved King Richard, and I hope if you haven't seen it, it's in my top 5. It's in my top 5. But anyways, number 4. Now, I've seen this movie show up in nearly everyone's top 5, so this probably isn't an unpopular opinion. But number 4 is Dune. I loved Dune. Denis Villeneuve once again proves how great of a filmmaker he is, and to me, it's just such a wonderful bundle of joy. I loved everything they did with this film. I loved the creativity. Now, yes, I'll admit my biggest negative, it's a part 1. Parts of the movie are slow, but overall, I think it's a beautiful masterpiece of a film. The cinematography, the filmmaking, the audio editing. I've said this before on the channel. One of the things I care most about in films is their audio editing. To me, one of the most important things any movie can do is the audio. And to me, going to the theaters and watching Dune and seeing it and hearing it, how beautiful it sounded, the soundtrack, like that song. I love Dune. Timothée Chalamet, who's been proving to me to be one of the best actors I've ever seen. He keeps proving how great he is. Jason Momoa is pretty good in what he did. Oscar Isaac, a fellow Isaac, he was great as Duke Leto. Josh Brolin, he was great. Zendaya, I'll admit she didn't do much. I'm not really the biggest Zendaya fan. I know a lot of people love Zendaya. I'm not the biggest fan of her, but she did pretty good with the role she had. I mean, it was a small role, and really the only negativity I had from this movie is I wanted to see more. I wanted to see more Dune, but I do keep seeing this movie on nearly everyone's top 5 list, so it's probably not impossible that you're hearing me say that. And I know when I did my review, I called it a flawed masterpiece. And really, when I rewatched the movie, I realized, hey, my only criticism is I wanted more. I wanted part 2. I really wanted part 2, and that's a pretty good criticism if I say so myself. But anyways, number 3. Now we're in our top 3. Now these are the 3 most important. Now I can already tell before I say my list is that all 3 of the movies I'm gonna bring up have some form of controversy on putting them this high up on the list. I've already mentioned movies like House of Gucci, The Harley Fall, West Side Story, Free Guy, Dune, Nobody, Last Night in Soho, French Dispatch, No Time to Die, Tick Tick Boom. I've already mentioned quite a lot of films. I have not seen Green Knight, by the way. I'm going to say this. Green Knight's not in my top 3 because I've not even seen it yet. But I know a lot of people are going to be a little mad because one of these movies did cause a little controversy on my channel before, but these 3 movies I've had in each individual movie, I've had people criticize me for liking these movies. Which I get if you disagree with the person on film, but at the end of the day, we gotta understand that the beauty of filmmaking and the beauty of being a film fan is our differences, our subjective views. So I'm gonna say my top 3, and if you're mad at me, cool. Just put a comment, tell me whether you agree or disagree, and you can tell me why you don't. Just don't be one of those a-holes who are like, oh no, you like this movie, how could you? But anyways, number 3 is James Gunn's Suicide Squad. I love James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Prior to the film coming out, I remember I constantly kept praising how good the trailers were, how amazing of a story it is. And then when I watched the movie, I love stories about flawed characters. Besides fatherhood stories, my favorite kinds of stories are stories about characters who are flawed. And while The Harder They Fall did that, by the way, 2 Idris Elba movies in the top 10 list, I think that's cool. And Suicide Squad, I love what they did. These are characters who aren't good people. These are terrible people. And even in the film, there are times they emphasize that. And I love how in this story of wacky, weird characters, you emphasize, you love them. You start, you believe in them, you love them, and you love everything these characters do. And I love exactly that they did that. I love this film, Suicide Squad. It is my favorite non-Zack Snyder DCEU movie, but I really love Suicide Squad. I keep praising this movie. I saw this movie already 7 times. By the way, sorry if I'm scratching my hair. I didn't brush it today, so my hair just keeps falling in my eye. But it itches, man. It's a problem of me growing my hair out, which is what I did this year. But anyways, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. It's fun fact, when I did my review on it, I had so many people telling me I betrayed Zack Snyder, which I think is completely stupid to say. I'll admit that right now. I'm not in a Snyder cult, so please don't put me in that. I love movies because they're movies. I could care less who the director is, and I love what James Gunn was able to do with the Suicide Squad. Polka Dot Man, King Shark, Bloodsport, Look, I'll admit the only flaw I had in the film, and you'll even see this in my review, is Harley Quinn. I'll admit the whole Harley Quinn subplot of her and the king or the president of Golda Maltese. I'll admit that whole subplot was a little annoying. I didn't like that. But regardless, I love this film. But anyways, number 2. Now, I know this movie is probably the most divisive one to be on my list because this movie was the first divisive film in this entire franchise that I'm about to bring up. In this movie, I remember when I reviewed the movie, everyone was shocked at how much I loved it because I know lots of people who hate this movie. But number 2 on my list is Chloe Zhao's Eternals. Yes, Eternals is my second favorite movie of the year. But not only that, it is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film. It is my 3rd favorite Marvel film. It's behind Logan and Spider-Man 2, but it is my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film. To me, it is the first MCU masterpiece. To me, it's a beautiful film of philosophies and philosophical ideas, ideologies being challenged between characters who are gods, who see themselves and, they see themselves more as humans, and they see how humanity has changed throughout the years. They're bad, but they also have their good. And I love this story about these characters who They're challenging whether or not they should even save Earth. Is it worth saving it? What's the point of it? Why are they even there? I love stories that challenge beliefs of the characters. And I love what Eternals did. Because at the beginning, you start off thinking these are heroes, but you end off the movie, thinking, are they really even heroes? And the moral dilemmas. There's even moments in this movie where I'm like, oh, they shouldn't save humanity. Yet I'm part of it. But I'm watching Eternals, and I just love how beautiful a film it is. The character of Cersei and Icarus, their love romance. I love the way they did it. I love the way they ended it. I love seeing, Gemma Chan. She's pretty good in it. Richard Madden is great, as always. Chloe Zhao was an amazing director. Angelina Jolie as Dina was pretty cool too. Fastos, all these others, Sprite, all these characters, Kingo, these characters, while they aren't like the team itself, what I love is that a lot of people prior to the movie were questioning, how do you do this team up movie of characters we've never seen? Because the Avengers, you had Thor movie, you had Captain America, you had Iron Man, and how do you do this team up movie? And I love that this movie is like, no, we ain't no team up movie. We're not a team up movie. We're an ensemble movie. But that's not the point of the story. The story is challenging the characters, and I love what they did with Eternals. And everyone calls me crazy when I say Eternals is my favorite MCU movie. Still is there, and it is my second favorite movie of the year. But anyways, my number one movie of the year, drum roll please. Wait. I don't even know if you guys can hear that, but I think most of you guys can guess what is my favorite movie of the year. My favorite movie of the year is not only my favorite movie of the year, and I was not expecting to say this prior, to 2021, but my favorite movie of this year is my favorite movie of all time. Yes, that's how special this year was. That my favorite movie of all time came out this year. Can you guess what it is? No, it's not Spider-Man No Way Home, because I already said that didn't make it in my top 10. No, it's not Last Night in Soho. No, it's not Dune. You already saw the rest of the list. So can you guess what I'm about to say? Zack Snyder's frickin' Justice League. Yes, that movie is not only my favorite movie of 2021, it is my favorite movie of all time. And I've gotten a lot of people criticizing me for loving this movie as much. In fact, there's a group chat I'm in that they keep clowning on me for loving the movie. I'll always say this, all film is subjective. And if you can't understand that film is subjective, then you really don't understand film and film fandom in general. But Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's this awesome rock and roll movie about these characters. Superman is dead. What do we do now? And I love Steppenwolf, the way they, I've already reviewed this movie too many times, so I probably shouldn't even do another review. But I love this story about these characters who as individuals are flawed. And then when they come together for this one cause to bring back, to resurrect the Man of Steel himself. Right here protecting us in the multiverse of movies. I love the story. I love seeing Darkseid. I love seeing Steppenwolf. And this movie has such a soft spot. I've seen this movie way too many times to even be able to know how many I've seen this 8 times probably. I don't know. Probably more. I don't even know. I often catch myself rewatching scenes just because why not? I love this movie. And in fact, I was even planning on doing this hour-long essay about why I loved Zack Snyder's Justice League as much as I did, but it is my favorite movie of all time. It is my favorite movie of the year. But anyways, thank you guys for indulging with me. Thank you guys for being here to listen to my entire to my top 10 list, to be here just to have a lot of fun. And I want to thank everyone who watched this video, and I want to thank everyone for the wonderful year we've had. Happy New Year's to everyone, because I'm probably uploading this on New Year's, but Happy New Year's to everyone. Let's hope for a great 2022. I wonder what's my top 10 in 2022 going to be like. I do know definitely for sure the Robert Pattinson Batman film will probably end up being in my top 10. Probably. So I cannot wait to, if you want to check out my last year's list from 2020, you can go check it out. It's on my channel. You probably got to search up oldest videos and you'll probably find it somewhere there. But dude, I loved 2021's film. 2020 was a pretty empty year for films in general. It was a pretty difficult year for films in 2020. So to see 2021 come back with the boom, come back and show the world that movies are important, movies are essential for everyone, I'm glad we live in a world where I can say that films are back. Now, I know the Omicron variant might change that, but regardless, this year has been a great year for films. And please, again, let me know what are your top 10 of the year. And also, thank you guys who are joining the membership program, which only one person so far, but I need to start promoting it more. I'll admit I've been a little lazy, but it is only 99 cents a month. And you get a shout out at the end of every video. And I want to thank Pedro Vonilla, who is our only member as of yet, for joining the membership program. Again, it's only 99 cents a month, and you get a shout out at the end of my video. So, and you're an associate producer of the channel here in the multiverse of movies. I want to thank everyone who watched the entire video. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting the channel in 2021. This has been an amazing year because, you know, I started this YouTube channel and I began the year with only like 80, 90 subscribers, and I genuinely felt like giving up, but now I'm at 1,000. I've been monetized, so I make money off these videos, and I want to thank every one of you who made this possible, and I want to thank everyone for the wonderful year we've had. Thank you guys for watching. I know I'm going to assume this, but I know a lot of you guys are going to be surprised I didn't put Spider-Man No Way Home in my top 10, considering it was the biggest topic of this year. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. Happy New Year, and may 2022 be just as awesome.